Okay, welcome back to the 12th video. We're going to start getting into financials. The one last thing I wanted to tell you about the last video that I forgot. The marriage license marries you into the state, marries you into the District of Columbia. It's a naturalization just like anything else. I totally forgot to I spaced out to even say that because you say that it's in the state of California or whatever. So marriage license moves you both into the District of Columbia, and it also transforms your marriage into a business underneath the state, which is located in the District of Columbia. That's why you need a license. Normal Americans, Californians, or non-citizen nationals, or Californians, or state citizens, or however you want to say it, they don't need a license to get married. You gotta be fucking kidding me? You need to go to the state to do what God intends for us to do. Like, you gotta be fucking kidding me? Most satanic fucking bullshit thing I've ever seen in my life. A marriage license. Anyways. I wanted to say that real quick. Okay, good. So we're going to go straight into the financials and infinite money. Okay, so I have a 10-minute video called How to Have Infinite Money in 10 Minutes. We're going to go through that video. I'm going to expand that video a little bit for you, and then we're going to roll into a 6-part series that I previously shot called The Journey into UCC3. It's 6 different videos. It's a full, super ultra deep dive breakdown all about infinite money and how everything works. So we're going to watch a video of me together, the Infinite Money in 10-minute video. This video is available on YouTube. It's also one of my pinned videos on both TikTok and Instagram. It's currently my pinned video on my Facebook page. That may change, but for now it is. It's pretty much, this video has gotten, on all platforms combined, 43K here. It's about 1.5 million views on Facebook. Probably, 6,000 or 7,000 on Instagram. TikTok, probably 4,000 or 5,000. So 1.5 million, maybe a little bit over 1.5 million views on this video. So let's go ahead and watch this, and then I'm going to go ahead and break this video down and expand it out a bit for you. By the way, on my Instagram, I have 3 pinned videos. They're really great. They're all 10 minutes long, and I have 3 10-minute breakdown vids, and they're really good for sharing, by the way. This is a very shareable video, okay? So let's watch this. I'm going to pause it, and then we'll break it down. Here we go. Hello there, my name is Brandon, this is my brand, and today I am going to teach you how to have infinite money in less than 10 minutes. Let's get started. So first and foremost, we need to figure out what is money. Well, everyone thinks they know what money is. They think it's those green things in their pocket, but it's definitely not. I'm going to prove it to you and explain the whole thing to you. So let's start off at Article 1, Section 10 of the Constitution. It says, no state shall, and then it says a whole bunch of things, but one of the things it says in here is make anything but gold and silver coin a tender in payment of debts. Now we look up money in Black's Law Dictionary, and we've got in usual and ordinary acceptation. It means gold, silver, or paper money used as a circulating medium of exchange. Now this part is really the most important part, right? And does not embrace notes, bonds, evidences of debt, or other personal or real estate. Now keep in mind on that one, because we're going to be getting into some excitement here now. Now check it out on here. Federal Reserve note. Wait a second. The definition of money says it does not embrace notes. Interesting. Well, if these bad boys ain't money, what in the hell are they? Well, the answer comes from the Uniform Commercial Code, Article 3, Section 104, which we're going to talk about more. And they're actually called negotiable instruments. So instrument basically means like any document or contract or deed or security. Negotiable means transferable. So this is actually a security, essentially, or a promissory note that I can transfer to you, and then you will now be able to possess that value, right? Now they break down, UCC 3, Article 3 is the section that's all about negotiable instruments, all about our money supply that we have. All the information on that can be found in UCC Article 3, which we'll be talking about a lot. Now they define negotiable instruments as only 2 things: an unconditional promise to pay or an unconditional order to pay a fixed amount of money, blah, 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 blah. We're going to be talking a lot about this. This is all how infinite money really works.
So we have, like it said there, negotiable instruments, unconditional promise to pay or an unconditional order to pay, right? Now there's two different terms that you're going to see, and we're going to break all these terms down, right? You can see right here, this is from the Bill of Exchange Act of 1882. There's two different terms. Bill means bill of exchange, and note means promissory note, right? So the unconditional order to pay is a bill. You get bills in the mail. We're going to cover that in just a second. That's an unconditional order to pay, and then you have the unconditional promise to pay. So here's just a random bill. We've got down here, it's an unconditional order to pay. It says billing date. What is bill a shortening for? It's a shortening for bill of exchange. What is a bill of exchange? It's a negotiable instrument. What is a Federal Reserve note? It's also a negotiable instrument. You're starting to see where we're going with this? Now, this is truly fascinating because anybody who may deny this, which I don't think they will because very few people have the capacity to actually understand a lot of this stuff. In UCC Article 3, Section 102, it's talking about all of UCC Article 3, which is only about negotiable instruments. It literally says, this article applies to negotiable instruments. It does not apply to money. This is not a conspiracy theory, bro. So I've already shown you what a bill of exchange or bill looks like, but you get them in the mail and you hate them. So you know what those look like. Your utility bills. Those are all bills of exchange. They're all negotiable instruments, just like these bad boys. And I'm going to teach you what that means. This is a promissory note. All mortgages, all bank notes, whenever you sign for a loan for a car, a loan for a business loan, it's a promissory note. So this note, the actual physical piece of paper that you're going to get and sign, this note basically is a negotiable instrument. Now you ask yourself, what does it need to be in order to be a negotiable instrument? Well, it has to be either an unconditional promise to pay, which is a promissory note, or order to pay, which is a bill of exchange. It has to be signed and it has to be written. Those are the three things it has to have in order to be considered a negotiable instrument. Everyone believes that when you're getting a loan, the bank gives you other people's money that's already in the bank at interest. But 12 United States Code Section 83 says that general prohibition, no national bank shall make any loan or discount on the security or shares of its own capital stock. So how does the bank give you money? So the way the bank gives you money comes from the Federal Reserve Act, Section 16, Part 2. It's called note issues, but it's also found in the United States Code at Article 12, United States Code, Section 412. So the way it works is they tell you right here, you can make an application. Such application shall be accompanied with a tender, meaning giving somebody something or offering somebody something, to the Federal Reserve agent of collateral an amount equal to the sum of the Federal Reserve notes thus applied for and issued, blah, 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 blah. So it's saying if you want to apply for notes, you need to give us some sort of something in exchange, right? The collateral security thus offered, meaning what you're going to give in exchange for the Federal Reserve notes, shall be notes, drafts, bills of exchange, acceptances, blah, 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 and other things, right? So what they're doing is they're taking, you're endorsing, which means releasing, which we're going to get into in a second, which is the most important part of all this. Your signature is where all the power is. Once you sign it, what are the three things it has to have? Unconditional promise or order, unconditional promise to pay or order to pay, written and signed. That third part is when they slide the mortgage documents across the table and they say, sign here, sir. You are the one who's about ready to take that third one and bring that into existence. So the collateral security that they're going to give the Federal Reserve in exchange for the Federal Reserve notes when they write that application for notes is the negotiable instruments that you just created with your signature. The promises to pay or the bills of exchange, the orders to pay. You can actually, the way in which you sign things is where all the magic happens, and we're going to start to get into that right now.
So real quick, you may need to watch this several times. There's a bunch of other infinite money videos and shows that I've been on. You can go on the internet, or you can type into Spotify or anywhere else. You can type in Brandon Joe Williams, Infinite Money. There's tons of shows. The problem is, and the problem I'm running into with this course, the problem is there's a bunch of stuff on there that's kind of random, and like I didn't really know what I was talking about, and like some of the stuff is probably just fine, but it might seem kind of convoluted now. I'm not too sure. I don't really want to go through tons and tons of videos and try to figure all that out. So what I'm going to do instead is basically I'm going to try to explain some of this stuff here in this video, then we're going to dive straight into the Journey into UCC3 series, which is pretty heavy duty. It's the entire Bible of how all this stuff works. And basically what I need to figure out here is I need to figure out how to prevent you from drowning in the next 6 videos. Okay. So for those of you who are new to a lot of this information, and I mean like brand new, and you're just now being exposed to this information for the first time, you maybe possibly go ahead and just move into the next series of videos. But if you really struggle with those, you're going to go online and look up some of my infinite money videos on my channel as well as some other channels. You can watch some of those and then come back to the UCC3 Journey into UCC3 series. Okay. But either way you do it, no matter what happens, you have to get through the Journey into Uniform Commercial Code Article 3 series. This is the most important 6 videos that I have ever made, ever. These 6 videos, you are going to be immune to all tickets. You're going to be immune to being sanctioned in the courts. If the judges get pissed and make you pay money, you're going to be immune to sanctions. They can't sanction you. You're going to be immune to... I don't even know how you can go to prison when you understand this shit, literally. Every single bill in the world is going to be, you're going to litigate and you're going to win and you're going to have it paid for you. You're going to be able to get anything you want for free: homes, apartment complexes, vacations, planes. I mean, the Journey into UCC3 series that I have, the 6 videos that I'm about ready to show you in this course, is literally the most important thing in the world. And my concern is we're going to dive into that next. I'm trying to find a way of introducing a lot of this information to you without overwhelming you and just kind of priming you enough to get you onto the UCC Article 3 series that I'm about ready to send to you as the rest of this next 6 series of videos in this course. Okay, so spare me. This is the one part of this course that I've been just losing sleep over trying to figure out how I can bridge this gap. So you can look up other videos, Spotify videos, type in Infinite Money, Brandon J. Williams. You'll see all sorts of things. But for now, I'm hoping I can just fill in a few gaps. We can watch this 10-minute video and then boom, get you straight into the UCC3 series. If you're able to do that and you're able to move forward with that, that's how it should be. Okay? So this is the Federal Reserve discount window website. Okay. Now let's say you're collecting information for a lawsuit, because everything we're doing all day long, every single day with all of our Freedom of Information Act requests and all the letters and all the bullshit is we're building the case. And I know I haven't said that too much earlier in the course because I didn't want to freak you out, but you should, even if you're not going to litigate, you should pretend as though you are, and everything you do, every letter, every document, every 3811, the mail docs, every 3800, every doc, every signature, every line, every word, you're building up that evidence to eventually wind up in a lawsuit. That's the way I look at it, right? You got to think, you're scared of a lawsuit because you're scared of losing or bad things happening. The better your evidence is and the better your data collection is and the more organized you are, these companies, I'm suing all these different companies and going fucking crazy left, right, and center. None of these companies are counter-suing me or coming after me or anything because my shit's so tight, it's so organized, and it's so clean. They know it's a waste of time to try to come after me. So the cleaner, more organized, and more evidence you have, the chances of you getting chased after or something bad happening, as far as I'm concerned, goes down to like 0. And then when you understand how to do negotiable instruments and UCC3, you can get sanctioned. It's impossible. Sanction means like, fuck you, you're a piece of shit, and your filing is frivolous, and this lawsuit is harassing, and you need to pay $15,000 to $50,000 or whatever to repay these people for wasting their time. But you can't even get that. It's impossible to get that once you understand UCC Article 3. Okay. So you're going to go in here and you're going to look up information. Let's say you're suing, like for example, one of the cases is AG Texas Farm Credit Services. So I'm going to type in AG Texas, AG Farm, or just AG. And you'll see here we've got AG First Farm Credit Bank. Interesting. Submit. So this is the banking institution called AG First Farm Credit Bank. And it says here, this is the date they've had effective access. This is they're in Columbia, South Carolina, and their reserve bank district is in Richmond, Virginia. That's the 12 different banks for the Federal Reserve. And are they insured with FDIC? No, right? So now this information is evidence that there's this bank called AG First Farm Credit Bank that this other company that we're suing called the AG Texas Farm Credit Services, right? So AG Texas Farm Credit Services, right? So my client, which you can see in this lawsuit here, and again, I'm trying as hard as I can not to jump the gun because we need to learn all this financial stuff before we start getting into litigation. Litigation is the last step. Litigation is, now that we understand how all this works, how do we make other people do it under the law? So it's the last step, right? So we got case 3, negotiable instruments and peonage. This is for AG Texas Farm Credit Services. You can click on these and you can see the different filings and stuff, right? So I was doing some research and I was thinking to myself, and you can even look it up. Is AG Texas Farm Credit Services a subsidy of AG First Farm Credit Bank? Oops. A subsidy of AG First Farm Credit Bank. Okay, here we go. Lawsuit Central. Yes. The Farm Credit Bank of Texas supports AG Texas Farm Credit Services with lending products. AG First Farm Credit Bank is one of 4 banks in the farm credit system. Do we have the right name here? AG First Farm Credit Bank. Okay, good. Boom. So now we know that AG Texas Farm Credit Services is underneath this bank, which has Federal Reserve discount window access. So what that means is I should have done more research when I filed the lawsuit. I mean, you live and you learn. It's been 6 months since I filed that. It's amazing how much you can learn in 6 months, right? So what happened was AG Texas Farm Credit Services gave my quote-unquote client a loan, and there was a promissory note. We're going to get into endorsements in this video in a minute, but he signed the promissory note. The promissory note itself became a security, which then was given to the person who has Federal Reserve discount window access, AG First Farm Credit Bank, which is a senior organization from AG Texas Farm Credit Services. They went to the window and they did what I just talked about, which is the 12 USC 412. They filled out an application for notes, and they used the original promissory note, the original business loan that was signed by my client, as the collateral to apply for Federal Reserve notes. So they want to swap the value of that original promissory note for Federal Reserve notes. Now, again, remember, note means promissory note. It's a promise to pay. So application for a type of promise to pay called a Federal Reserve note. In exchange, we're going to give them the original note that my client signed to promise to pay the business loan. Okay? And that is done through the Federal Reserve discount window, which is here. And then you do a little research and you find out what is the banking institution making that transaction, right? Now, if you look on the Federal Reserve discount window access website, you can also see here requests for access. So this section is all the banking institutions that have requested access that may be either pending, recently approved, withdrawn, and I believe rejected. You don't see rejected very often, right? Which is interesting, right? Now, give me 1 second. I'm going to pause this for 1 second to show you something very shocking. So if you look at, I found one I wanted to look for. This is pretty shocking. I'm going to go into this a little bit more later. Again, I'm trying so hard not to overwhelm you guys. So if you get a little bit too confused or a little bit too much, just ride through a lot of this stuff here. Ride through the UCC3 series and try to get to the end. If you can't, go through it again, review it. This whole kind of area, I'm trying to figure out how I can give you some foreplay before I stick my dick in you, and I'm just having a hard time with it. So I apologize if I'm losing you a little bit, but I'm telling you, this is really cool. So check this out. 12 USC 1753. Any 7 or more natural persons who desire to form a federal credit union shall each subscribe either individually or collectively before some officer competent to administer oaths, an organization certificate and duplicate, right? So any 7 human living people, essentially, the definition of natural person is definitely up for debate. But just to keep it simple, let's go in that direction. So you and 6 friends can create a federal credit union. Then at that point, what you're going to do is you're going to fill out what's called an OC-10 agreement. And I haven't done any of this yet. This is on my to-do list, okay? Here is the OC-10 agreement, establishing discount window access. And it's got all the info here. I'm not going to get into all this. It's not that complicated, actually, when you read it. You're going to fill out an OC-10. You're going to get 7 of your buddies together. You're going to create your own credit union. You're going to fill out an OC-10. You're going to get window access, and then you're going to go on this requests for access page. And you're going to be here for 2 or 3 months, and then they're going to approve for you to have access to the Federal Reserve discount window. Now, at that point, you can get people to promise to pay you for cars and for loans and for business loans and for whatever. You can get them to sign the documents. You can turn around. You can take those documents and those promises to the Federal Reserve discount window and swap the value of those promises for Federal Reserve notes as per 12 USC 412. So everyone's running around so upset about the Federal Reserve and the banking system and how it's all bullshit and everything else. I'm the only guy on the planet who's like, if you can't beat them, join them. You need 7 motherfucking people to open up your own credit union. Once you have a motherfucking credit union, you can file for an OC-10, which it looks like they approve almost everybody within a couple months. Once you get your OC-10 agreement approved, you have infinite money. I'm going to show you a bunch of other ways to have infinite money, but this is something that I wanted to show you as an expansion of this 10-minute video. You've got it. All your buddies can come to you and promise that they're going to pay you whatever amounts of whatever bullshit, and then you go like, yeah, cool, ha, ha, ha. I want a Bugatti. Okay, sign this document that you promised to pay for the Bugatti. Yep, here you go. Turn around, give it to the Federal Reserve. The Federal Reserve gives you all the money you need for the Bugatti, and then go out and buy the Bugatti. And you say to yourself, well, don't we need to pay back the Federal Reserve? Absolutely not. You do not need to pay back the Federal Reserve even 1 penny. And at that point, we're going to continue the 10-minute video because I explain how that works in the 10-minute video, okay? So again, I'm trying my absolute best not to drown you guys here. I hope we're okay. You guys can put in the comments section anything. Watch this 10-minute video over and over and over again. Maybe watch a 10-minute video 100 times before you get into the journey into UCC3. If the journey into UCC3 videos is too much for you, try to watch this 10-minute video and maybe even this video I'm shooting right now with you like 100 times and clear up all the definitions of the words. Because I'm just a little bit worried if you go off into all the other infinite money videos that I've made, there's a lot of things that I was trying to figure out and a lot of things that I was confused about and I was trying to figure out, and you might get a little bit lost in it. So I'm just trying my best here, guys. So please forgive me, okay? So let's keep going on this 10-minute video here, okay?
Now, it's called endorsements. There's 2 different ways to spell it, though. It's a lot more than what people think, so we're going to get into it now. So when you get into negotiable instruments and the creation of negotiable instruments, in my opinion, the most important part of all is the way that you sign. Now, the word sign and the word endorse, when it comes to a financial instrument, mean the same thing. You can actually take this word endorsement, I-N-D-O-R-S-E-M-N-T, which is how they spell it in UCC3, which we're going to cover. You can take that word and replace the word signature in your mind with the word endorsement, and your life will change forever. And the reason why is what I'm going to tell you right now. So what everyone is doing on the whole planet all the time with these negotiable instruments when they sign them, they're doing what's called a blank endorsement. If an endorsement is made by the holder of an instrument and it is not special endorsed, right? So what exactly is a blank endorsement? A blank endorsement means that it's payable to bearer, payable to whoever has it. It does not state a payee. It doesn't say who it's supposed to be paid for. It's a blank check. When you just sign and you don't say who the proceeds of this swap, the security swap, is supposed to go to, and you don't write the specifics in the endorsement, it does not state a payee. It's payable to whoever wants it, and the financial institutions take it as a gift. They're like, basically the way they look at it is you just abandoned that security.
So you sign the security without stating the payee on the instrument, and then what happens is you're basically releasing that instrument to whoever wants it. So because you don't know how to sign, when they slide it across and you sign it, you release it to them, they take it, and then now it's been released without conditions. They can go to the window with it and swap it for Federal Reserve notes. So you just funded your own loan. Everyone funds their own loans. So by definition, what does that mean? It means the banks never loan anyone anything. All they're doing is helping you swap the value of the original promissory note for Federal Reserve notes. It's a currency exchange because the definition of the word currency, remember, it includes notes and bills of exchange and evidences of debt. That original evidence of debt that you signed becomes exchangeable for a different evidence of debt. So even if we go all the way back to the beginning of the course when I showed you UCC 9-307, and this dovetails beautifully into the definition of the word you, someone who owes a debt to the United States, right? If you look at this is way back at the beginning of the course when we talked about where is this person called United States located in the District of Columbia. Look at the name of where this information comes from. Location of debtor. A Federal Reserve note has two parties on it. If you look in your wallet, it's got United States of America and it's got Federal Reserve. One of them, as per the UCC1 financing statement that we saw earlier from my website, you have the secured party or secured party creditor, and then you have the collateral, and then you have the debtor. Remember this? Let me show this to you. This is the UCC1 financing statement, right? Debtor name, secured party name, right? So debtor name is here. And then location of debtor. Debtor's name is a person called the United States. Location of that person, District of Columbia. That's how it works. And then you is defined as a person who has a debt to United States. So United States is a debtor, and then you are a debtor underneath United States. So you're a debtor underneath the district, a person in the District of Columbia. And this is how the whole goddamn country has been stolen by the banking industry, okay? I'm showing you how they've stolen everything. They've collateralized everything. And this is how they've done it. And you'll see a lot more about this in later videos, but I'm just explaining this to you in more detail now, trying to get you ready for the UCC3 series, okay?
Now what they do is they put a special endorsement on it. They claim the security, and then they go to the Federal Reserve window and write an application for notes with the security that they just very cleverly had you donate. Oh no, we didn't steal it. You just kind of donated it to us. Then they get the money from that, and then they loan you your own money back at interest. Now, I had my people go out and do some digging, get hold of some of their mortgage loans and stuff like that. We started taking a look, and we started finding these endorsements on the thing. These are special endorsements, paid to the order of, without recourse, It's got the name. So they're putting on here where the proceeds of this negotiable instrument are supposed to go to. It's just like a check. Paid to the order of on a check. Where are these funds going? They're claiming the value of this thing and getting it ready to swap it with the Federal Reserve. Look, paid to the order of, and then it has the name on there, by, and that's when they sign it right here. So this is a very specific thing. What is without recourse? We need to cover. So in financial transactions, the word without recourse disclaim any liability to the subsequent holder of a financial instrument. So they're just saying like, hey, if this doesn't work or you don't cash this or this something happened to this, you can't come back and get it. Here's another example that we found. I'm going to show you one more after this. And here's the last example. I'm running out of time now, so I'm going to explain this to you. So you can do this yourself on your bills of exchange and your promissory notes. You can write without recourse, pay to the order of, your name in all capital letters, by, sign there, and then below there put your name. And you're saying, guys, I'm giving you this instrument, but I'm not donating it to you. You're allowed to go to the Federal Reserve window, bring back those funds, put those funds on my account, and it zeroes out the whole account, and you can give them the interest as a payment to do the swap for you. A lot of places won't do it. You have to litigate to get this done, but I wanted to show you guys this in less than 10 minutes. I'm running out of time. A lot of information on my website. It's all totally...
So you got to litigate to get it done because they won't follow these instructions, but this is how it works, so you just got to beat the shit out of them until they do it, and that's where the whole litigation section of the course and me litigating and all this kind of stuff is going to come in next. But you have to understand how all this stuff works before you can get into litigation. It's not going to work if we try to get you into litigation before that point. Okay, so the way that it works is let me pause the video for a minute and recalibrate here. Oh, yeah. So earlier in the video, I said, you guys go out and get your credit union, and then you do your OC10, and then you take the stuff to the window, and then it's collateralized, and then it's like, now what? Now you got to pay back the Federal Reserve, right? No, because if you go to my resources section, these are all endorsements on instruments that you saw in that video. Go down to this section will be examples of endorsements that were stamped on instruments, such as a mortgage, preparing it to be exchanged with the Federal Reserve. So if you do a Freedom of Information Act request on your mortgage or your business loan or whatever, you can ask them to send you copies of the note with any attached allonges or any relevant endorsements, I-N-D-O-R-S-E-M-E-N-T. An allonge is a document attached to a negotiable instrument such as a bill of exchange or promissory note to provide additional space for endorsements or to transfer the instrument to a third party. So an allonge is just a whole sheet with nothing but endorsement information, right? But here's what the endorsements look like on a lot of the sheets, right? So you can do your Freedom of Information Act request. You can get copies of your additional notes for your mortgage. You can find these endorsements on the business loans or on the mortgages, and then boom, it's the easiest goddamn lawsuit on the planet. And the lawsuit's going to be to discharge your entire mortgage, plus you're going to get every single payment you've ever made on the mortgage, including any down payment, all returned to you, plus you're going to get 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, $35 million in damages. Now, let's just stop for a second here, and I'm going to show you some of these, and I'm also going to be very, very clear with you. I've never seen anyone as of 4:29 p.m. Sunday, August 18th, Pacific Standard Time, I've never, ever seen anyone, including myself, successfully pull off suing and getting damages and doing everything that I just said. We are the vanguards. We are the new people. We are blazing a trail, and we are going to get this done. There have been people, and I've seen plenty of stories where people get their mortgages discharged, but fuck that. That's not what we're here for. This 2.0 course and Pickletarians and Brandon Joe Williams and the Nation of the Amnesty Coalition, that is absolutely, completely not what we stand for. We stand for the mortgage is discharged. Every single payment that has ever been made on that mortgage is returned to you, plus 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40, 50, 60 million dollars in damages on the civil side, civil remedy of peonage, enticement into slavery, sale into involuntary servitude. You should have been told that if you would have signed your original promissory note for your home, your original mortgage, with just a little bit different type of signature, you would have never had to send in any Federal Reserve notes and you would have had your home free and clear. You should have been told that. And you were never told that. That is fraud. That is fraud that has created an involuntary servitude, forced labor, sale into slavery, which is all, as of this video or last video, whatever it was, has a civil remedy. You can sue now in civil court. Thank you to Brandon for that. Thank you to me for finding that. I'm very excited. I have many ideas as to what I'm going to do with this now that I've found this. I was looking for this for a long time, couldn't find it. So you're going to ask the mortgage company or the it doesn't matter. It could be a student loans. It could be a business loan, a personal loan. It's not personal, right? Because it's the entity. It's the ens legis. It could be a credit card. It could be anything, bro. Everything falls under this bullshit. And you want, through a FOIA request, Freedom of Information Act request, you want to get copies of that original promissory note and any allonge that may be with it. Most of these don't have allonges. They're just stamped right on the document. And you want to find this endorsement without recourse, pay to the order of, it states the payee, right? So this is what they're doing to prepare this instrument to go to the Federal Reserve discount window. What they're doing is they're saying, we own this instrument, and the proceeds of the value of this promissory note go to us, Bank of America N.A., after the swap takes place. Now, what's funny is if you want a loan for $300,000, they take the original promissory note, they stick this endorsement code on it, they take it to the window, they get back the full value of the entire maturity value of the note, so they might get back $600,000 from the window, and then they just hand you your $300,000 back to you, and they pocket the other $300,000 into their own pockets. They made money. They doubled their money by quote-unquote giving you a loan only because you didn't know how to sign. You didn't know what endorsements were, right? So you can go on my website and you can scroll down here and you can look at all these different endorsements, okay? And then you can see here, without recourse. So when they say without recourse, which all of them say without recourse, what that means is I'm never going to do anything with this. I'm never going to perform on this. This instrument is all I'm ever going to give you. You can't sue me. You can't do anything in the future. We're done, end of story. So what that means is you never have to repay the loan back to the Federal Reserve. So when you and 6 of your buddies get together and create your federal credit union, and then you file your OC-10 with the Federal Reserve discount window, wait a couple months and get approved, all you got to do is when somebody promises to pay you for a car or a business loan or anything else, all you do is just you put this special endorsement on here and you write without recourse at the top of it. They're going to give you the Federal Reserve notes and you never have to repay the Federal Reserve notes. I'm telling you, it's literally free, infinite money. I'm not joking. And I'm going to teach you more about this in the UCC Article 3 course, a 6-part series, A Journey into UCC 3. You might get very excited at this point. If you do fully realize what I'm saying right now, I strongly recommend that you cool your tits and you pump the brakes, because you need to understand the ins and outs of how all this works in great detail through the UCC 3 series, the 6-part series, which is going to be the next part of this course after this video. I strongly recommend that you do not take any actions or run out into the world and do crazy things such as buy a brand new car and write without recourse on it, because a lot of people are getting free cars right now. Some people get I had one guy recently get arrested for trying to buy a free car. They can't do anything with you. Nothing illegal about this. But it can be a very scary and jarring situation. I'd love to see someone try to fucking arrest me for writing without recourse. I'd be suing. Oh, dude. I'd have the big, if they were videotaping me, it'd be a little embarrassing because my dick would be bulging out of my pants. I'd be so fucking excited. I would be probably literally pre-coming. I'd be so excited if they tried to arrest me. If I signed without recourse on a document, literal pre-cum. I mean, I would look like a psychopath because I'd have a smile ear to ear. Because then I'd be suing. I'd be suing everybody. I'd have so much fucking money coming out of that thing. It wouldn't happen overnight, but just the amount of money I'd be coming out of something like that, it'd just be so outrageous. I'd take their whole fucking their whole dealership, literally. I'd take the whole dealership and then just give away all the cars. I'd give away all the cars just to spite them. I would just give away all the cars. Fuck Mike Toyota, piece of shit. Come on down this Saturday. We're giving away free cars, free barbecue, and there'd be this huge banner across the whole building. Fuck Mike Toyota or whoever the owner used to be. You know, and I say don't be vengeful and this and that. So don't be vengeful. You know, it's all in the name of justice. I know it tastes good. I know it tastes sweet. It's like a sweet cherry to get into the revenge and everything else. And I feel it too. But just keep in mind, you know, this is about justice. So, you know, if you go in there and you're a dick and you're an asshole and you're trying to get free cars and you say, fuck you, and then they arrest you, that's one thing, you know. But I'd be going in there, you know, making the best friends, shaking hands, dressing nice. And, you know, by the end, it'd be like when I bought that motorcycle. By the end, they're asking me for legal advice, not trying to arrest me. Okay, so it all comes down to diplomatic ability and the way that you can handle yourself and this and that. So keep that in mind. You know, keep that in mind. We're going to get into that more on the enforcement video. Make a note on that right now, actually. Diplomatic behavior. Okay. Behavior. So just keep in mind, it's very simple. A promise to pay, which is what you're signing, your promise to pay anything, that can be taken to the Federal Reserve discount window and exchanged for a different type of promise to pay by the debtor. Federal Reserve notes have a debtor there, which is the person called United States, located in the District of Columbia. They're going to go to the Federal Reserve discount window, swap that for Federal Reserve notes, and then pay you for the quote-unquote loan using the notes that were just created by you doing a blank endorsement on the original note, right? So I'm going to break that down. We're going to break down the next 6 videos are going to be the full UCC3 journey into UCC3, which is a full breakdown of every single aspect of the entire section that talks about how all this works. If you're still kind of confused, I would recommend this particular video you watch several times, look up some of the definitions of the words, look up some of the information, try to get a decent grasp of some of this real quick. And as soon as you think you have like kind of a halfway decent grasp of some of this stuff, try to move yourself into the first video of the next section, which is the journey into UCC3. If you can make it all the way through all 6 parts of a journey into UCC3, bro. Infinite money, bro. I promise you forever, okay? That's everything I wanted to talk about here. The first video in the journey into UCC3, there was a setting on my computer that caused the dark areas to flash. It was an HDR setting on my TV. I apologize in advance for that. I'm not going to reshoot the video because it was done so well. I really like it. But that problem was fixed in all of the future videos. So 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 don't have that problem. You're only going to see that problem in the first video, and I do apologize in advance. So please try your best to focus on that video without getting irritated by that flashing light. And I'll be back here to see you guys after that 6-part video. That'll be video number 19. And then I'll give you some examples on some things, and we'll go into some additional stuff about finances, and we're going to close out the financial section of this course on video number 19. And then at that point, we start moving into litigation. Okay, guys? So I hope that was good. I really hope that gave you enough of a primer to move you up and through the journey in the UCC 3 series. I'm very excited to try to get you through this as short and as fast as possible. And I will personally see you guys back here on the course videos on number 19. Bye-bye.